Hi guys, so today I have decided that I'm going to share our birth stories vlogs. So we've got Isla, the next one will be Lily, and the third one is Rowan. So Isla is our first baby. She had lots of miscarriages before her, and then I had a average pregnancy with her. The blood pressure was fine. She always looked healthy on scans. I did go into hospital because I had quite a lot of bleeding throughout. So I had quite a lot of bleeding. So I'd say I'd go in 3 times, 4 times to be checked and scanned to make sure she was okay because I bled. And now I just think that's how I am with my period, with my pregnancies. I've had a few bleeds with the others, but with Isla, it was my first, so I was very nervous about it. But apart from that, everything went swimmingly until 28 weeks plus 4 days. I went into hospital because I'd not felt her for about 2 days, and I'd noticed I really hadn't felt her, and I was just thinking, oh, I'll feel her in a bit, I'll feel her in a bit. And so I'd done everything, and I got to a point where I was real panicked. So I just thought, enough's enough, I need to go in. So I went in, and they didn't really do an awful lot with me. They just put me on like a heartbeat monitor, and Ida was like, she was like in my stomach, and her heart was beating, so they were happy. But then I did feel like, I don't know whether it was the midwife like touching my stomach, feeling for her. She got aggravated, I don't know what, but I felt like she'd rolled over, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really felt her. And the midwife's like, great. There was a few things like she should have done, and really I think a doctor should have come and seen me, but I can't really kind of go into that. So then I go home and I'm in a lot of pain, and I've got backache all night long, and I start to feel more and more pressure, and then I have a contraction around 7 a.m. So I have this contraction, and I'm thinking, oh, that was odd. So my mum's like, let's just have a bath. I'll call your midwife. So I had a bath. My mum called my midwife. We were living with my mum at the time. And yeah, I'm just going to make you straight again. And so, yeah, basically I was in labour. Little did I know that then. So the midwife was like, if she's really having contractions, she needs to get to the hospital. So my mum was like, she was like, the midwife's like, don't call an ambulance, just get to hospital. My mum was like, I think we need to get you to the hospital. So I said to her, okay, well, I was scared to death. So I was like, okay. And then as soon as we got in the car, I was like, Mum, I'm going to be sick. I was promptly sick all over my mum's car, like all over it, which is just vile, but that's like, this is the story, so this is what you're getting. So when I got into hospital, they sort of like left me in like this waiting room, and they sort of just kind of, my mum was like ringing the bell and stuff. So then like when the door opened, my mum just wheeled me and was like, she's in labour. And the nurse was like, no, go and do a urine test. I couldn't do a urine test. I could barely stand. I was in so much pain. So they laid me on a bed, and I was in absolute like agony. I was in agony, having contractions like super fast. Like there wasn't 5 minutes. I was having contractions super fast. By this point, God knows what time it was. It must have been about, I don't even know what time it was, but it must have been about 11 o'clock at this point, by the time all that drama had happened. And I'd got into the hospital. I'd got into a hospital bed, and the nurse literally got a doctor, and the doctor literally like scanned me, and she was like, you've got no water, I'm just going to do an internal. And she did an internal, and she was like, yeah, I can feel the baby's head. So I was like 27 weeks plus 5. They could feel the baby's head, not good. I was rushed down a corridor into a ward, into a room. I was given people were putting me on a drip. There was all these people running in. Now I know it was like neonatal and consultants and doctors and resuscitation and all that. But at the time I didn't have a clue. So all these people were like running into me, and I was just like, oh my God, like my baby's died and I'm not going to have my baby. I was like, get this baby out of me. I was in so much pain. I just didn't care anymore. I was in so much pain. I was having contractions like super fast. Like one after another, and they gave me some gas, and I was like, yes, I'll have it. So anyway, literally seconds later than that, Isla was out. It was like 2 pushes. She was so small, she was just like, she was out. It was like this massive whirlwind. I had no idea what had happened, what had gone on, if my waters had broke, what. I now know what had happened, and I now know that things weren't right and I wasn't handled right. The night before I went in, I should have been given completely different care, but that's neither here nor there to Isla's story. So I was starved of oxygen basically during birth, and which led to a really bad bleed on her brain. So she now has like severe cerebral palsy. She's like a grade 5. She's got spastic quadriplegia with all full limb involvement. She can't talk. She can't feed herself. She can't walk. She can't crawl. She can roll over and she can sit a little bit. But she does need a lot of aid with sitting. She gets very, very tired very, very quickly. She also was in an awful lot of pain as a young child. So we did do an operation called the SDR, which I might do a video on later on. But going back to her birth, so basically she went to neonatal then. And so I just really they put me in a bath, and my husband just lay on the floor of the bathroom. And I just said to him, did we just have a baby? And he was like, yeah, we just had a baby. And I said to him, and I was like, well, and he was like, don't worry, babe, we'll just have to try again. Which is a tiny bit heartbreaking. I don't want to get emotional, but it's quite heartbreaking. And then a nurse whizzes in, because, and she said to me, blah, 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 do this, do that, and then we'll get you out the bath and I'll get you a sandwich and a cup of tea. And so I was eating my sandwich and my cup of tea, and I was just on the end of the bed a bit I kind of, it hadn't really hit me that I had a baby, my baby was alive, or I even was now a mother and I was responsible for another being. It was very much just, I was just in shock that I'd even gone into labour, let alone anything else. So I just sat there kind of in shock, because I wasn't given the baby to hold. So it's a bit like once you go into full labour and you're given a baby to hold, there's the baby. So it's a bit like, oh, I've got a baby. And when the baby's taken away, it's a bit, especially your first, it's a bit different. And so I just felt a bit oh gosh, I was just out of it really as well. And I was tired and I was emotional and I had no idea what my hormones were racing. I had no idea what was going on. And so this midwife just waltzes in, my midwife, and she's like, right, darling, how are you feeling? Do you want to go see the baby now? And I was like, what? And she's like, oh, I'll leave you for a little bit longer then. Just finish your tea and I'll come back to you. So I was a bit I've got to go and see the baby now, have I? And I know it sounds really weird, but I was a bit I've got to go and see this baby. What baby? And it's just really emotionally weird. So she came back with a picture. And I think that really helped, because I was like, oh, it's my baby. My baby's alive. It might not be fine. And it's very small, but it's alive. And she was trying, and I think in her head, she hadn't really twigged that we really hadn't I don't know, maybe we were just a bit, it just was one of those things. I was just a bit in shock. We spent 12 weeks then going in and out of the unit. The NIC unit, special unit for babies every day, 12 weeks. Some of those weeks we did stay at the hospital here and there when I was breastfeeding. The last week she was in hospital, I stayed with her, which was really, really nice. But she had an awful time for the unit. They couldn't close her heart. You're born with a hole in your heart, everyone is. Normally closes within a few hours or a few days. Sometimes you need medication for it. Sometimes it can take months. Sometimes you need surgery. But yeah, basically Isla was so small, she was so fragile, she was too small to have surgery. She was really fragile, and they just couldn't close it and couldn't close it and couldn't close it. So she was on oxygen a lot longer than we really wanted her to be on oxygen, but she was on oxygen for a long time, for about 2 weeks, which is just not ideal. The longer you're on oxygen, you can have problems with your eyesight, you can have problems with your hearing. It can really degrade those things. So it's not really a great thing to be on, like, especially tiny babies. They don't like it for long periods of time. And if they have to, but they will constantly be doing everything in neonatal to get that baby off that oxygen. So we did eventually get her off oxygen, and we tried so hard to I tried so hard to breastfeed her, but she just wasn't having none of it. It took a long time to get her to bottle feed because of the bleed to her brain. Even when she came out of hospital, I just wasn't confident with her feeding. I never really felt very confident with her feeding, to be perfectly honest. She was a really bad sleeper. She was a really hard baby to look after. And I just don't know whether that was because I was just so worried all the time about her brain damage and about hurting her and what effects I was having on her body. And yes, so I think I was more of a worrier, and it was also my first baby, so I was worried about her all the time, worried about this condition, because we were told, before we were even told if she was okay, the next morning we were told that she would have cerebral palsy and she probably would never walk, and her education, she wouldn't be educated, and all these things, which has all come true. But you know, they knew they knew, didn't they? And we had no idea. I wouldn't say I would have ran for the hills, but I think now, looking back at it, if I could, I definitely would have done, because I'll tell you, it's been so hard. It's been so hard. Looking after her. I love her to bits. I know, do everything I do it for her. Every time I sell something on Vinted or on eBay or at a car boot, it's all thinking about her income. It's all thinking about her equipment. It's all about thinking about getting a bigger house, getting more space, getting her nice clothes, you know, trying to give her all the experiences in life that she deserves, because she doesn't get a great education. She's not able to read and write like I am, like the average person is. And so it's very much like, I don't think that she'll ever, you know, have a good job or even work. So I'm trying my hardest to travel with her and give her experiences in life and broaden her horizons and do experiences. And that's what I'm trying to make her life about, experiences, rather than, you know, a job that she's probably never going to be able to do and aspire to. And what, I can't see her sitting in her wheelchair day after day after day, just sitting in front of the telly day after day after day after day. There's got to be more than that for her. So I'm trying my hardest to build our YouTube channel. I'm trying my hardest to make money on the side any way I can with sales. I'm trying so hard to be able to afford nice holidays and experiences for her. Like, we've just been ice skating. Yes, okay, it was only £10, but I had to find that £10 from somewhere, and just little things like that. And so this really is Isla's birth story. So I don't really want to go too much into her older years and the years and years of therapy and the years of fundraising we've done, but we've done a hell of a lot of fundraising for her. We've done a hell of a lot of therapy. I think it's helped in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways she just hasn't really built any motor skills, or there's so many milestones that she's not reached. She really struggles to hold a pen, she really struggles to hold a paintbrush, she really struggles to hold a knife and fork, and so many things are just really hard for her to do. But being said, I can't say I wouldn't change her for the world or swap her for the world, because of course I would change her to have no brain damage and live a full and functioning life, because who wouldn't want that for their child, to have a full and functioning life? But on the other hand, she is, you know, I feel like we're blessed to have her and she's blessed to have us, and we love her to bits, unconditional, and we will wipe her tears, and we will make her dreams come true, and we will get her what she wants from Santa, and we will take her to Disney as much as she wants to go to Disney, and we will try and get her on the biggest rides that she wants to go on. We will take her ice skating because that's what she wants to do. We will go swimming, we'll go to beaches, we'll see dolphins. We will do what she wants to do as much as we physically can. We can do it. We will get her to what she wants to do as soon and as fast as we can physically afford to do that. We will make her life brilliant and amazing. And she's 10 now, and we've had one hell of a 10 years. We've had a really hard 10 years, and it's continually being hard. We've also had some beautiful holidays, some amazing memories, and there's one thing that's really encourageable about Isla is her laugh. We laugh so much with her. She has got the worst and naughtiest laugh ever, and you know, if you fart, God help you, because you will be laughing for hours, because she just roars. Here comes little Rowan, so that's the end of this video. Hey Ro, you gonna come say hi? Come to Mama then. Come on. He's taking his time. It's only little, bless him. Come on then. Okay. Do you want some din-dins? Yeah, guys, so thanks so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. This is just our little story about Isla's birth story. So thanks so much for watching. If you've got any questions about cerebral palsy or brain damage or preterm children, Isla was born at 28 plus 5, sorry. This one was 27 weeks. Look at him now. Look at this chunk. Look at this chunky monkey. Are you chunky monkey? Are you chunky monkey? What you got? What you got? Okay, you got the okay game. Don't put those in your mouth then. Oh no. Yeah, so please do like and subscribe. Thanks so much. And I'm going to do Rowan's birth story, probably when he goes to bed now, and Lily, our middle daughter's birth story, which is a sad story actually. But thanks so much. Bye. Love you guys.